Let's talk about Marc.
He's like an amazing big brother.
He's a great grandfather.
My hero.
A giant in his field. How wonderful a son, brother, husband, father he is.
He's amazing, and I love him dearly. He's really the light of my life.
So I'm Marc, and I'm a newly retired urologist. Being a physician, it's difficult, but it's an honored profession. It's a wonderful way to spend your life.
There were three doctors, Drs. Hahn, and Taub, and they had a very unique practice. They were true gentlemen. They respected each other. They respected their staff, their patients.
He would come in and see the patient, see how the patient's night was, talk to the nurse, how is he doing, and then he would call the wife or the husband, always contact the family and let them know how their loved one was doing. And that's unique. Doctors don't do that.
He's always thinking about other people.
His ability just to disarm everybody. It's amazing.
I remember people by their diseases. He remembers people by their names.
He has a great reputation.
Well, I think he's always consistent.
Very common that after I would refer somebody to Marc, they would call me back and thank me. That doesn't happen very often.
He isn't afraid to consult with somebody else. There's no ego involved. Everybody wanted to see him. I used to joke with him and tell him he could not see every patient in Boca.
He focuses on who he's with, so to have time with him and be the center of his focus felt amazing.
It's always been about family, and that came from my parents and from Rana's parents.
I felt very, very close with both my brothers because of the importance of family that was instilled by my parents.
He's like an amazing big brother. He always seems to be the arbitrator. He's good at analyzing things and not pissing people off.
Marc is a good neshama, a good soul. He's always happy-go-lucky, happy, smiling in every picture that is of Marc that I can think of.
His standards were always set very high. I had to follow him, but it was kind of a challenge, and I kind of enjoyed the challenge.
My mom and dad were very proud of their three sons.
His family is his most important thing, whether while Betty was alive.
The love that you showed for your mom and the incredible sensitivity that you showed in caring for her, especially in her later years when it was not so easy, was tremendously inspiring, and you really honored her the way the Holy One would want us to honor our parents.
My dad was a very successful pharmacist, worked hard day and night, and I think he encouraged and influenced my brother's entree into medicine.
He was a good student and well-liked in school.
He was always BMOC, big man on campus, in high school, college, and being the president of fraternity. And
I met him, I believe, at a fraternity party. I thought he was great from the minute that I met him. He was, as far as I'm concerned, adorable and just very charming. I was crazy about him right from the beginning. He went off to medical school, and I was worried that I would never see him again. And he came back for the homecoming dance. I thought he was gonna ask me to maybe be pinned or whatever, and instead he asked me to marry him.
Rana and I will be married 50 years this summer. I always say to Rana, we are so fortunate in that we are not the same people that we were 50 plus years ago. We've grown together.
Urology in general was a much more family-friendly subspecialty of surgery that allowed us not to have as much time away from our family.
When we moved to Boca, we lived 5 minutes from the hospital, so it was easy for him to go back and forth. If he had extra work to do, he would still come home, go to dinner, or go to some of their soccer games, and then he could go back to work.
When he came home, He was off the clock at work and on the clock at home.
My dad and rounding with him in the hospital as a kid and looking up to him and seeing how cool that was. Him coaching my sports teams, being home for dinner on a regular basis and seeing that it provided a good life for him and for our family.
He wasn't absent in any way.
His children were very little when I first started. Emily helped out in the office. I remember typing David's college applications.
But I feel blessed to follow in his footsteps.
After practicing urology for 40 years, the last 5 were working with David.
Being able to work alongside his son was the greatest honor that he had in the medical field.
At Holy Cross, there was one young woman, and it was just a very, very difficult procedure. Halfway through, I just was running out of steam, and I called the office and asked if my dad could cancel his patients and come up and help in the operating room, and it was just what I needed to get through the case, and it was just great to operate with, my hero.
He's someone who's worked hard, loved well, been ethical from head to toe.
As a testament to his loyalty, I would point out that he's one of a handful of people that remain loyal to the Cleveland Indians. In honor of Marc's retirement, I'm going to wear this hat. Marc, this one's for you.
Our whole family usually watches the Michigan football games together.
We have a very strong Ann Arbor, Michigan, Go Blue relationship and tie in our family.
He knows a lot about sports. We can watch games together and talk about the different players and teams.
This is Lador Vador. Through generation to generation, the maize and blue gets carried on.
Traveling with Marc is great too. He's always planned things out really to, down to the hour and sometimes minute.
We like to have fun with him. We like to go to Aspen with him.
We go on top of the mountain. He always takes pictures on his camera.
And we climbed trees, and we did zip lines, and we rode our bike.
Marc will try anything. From getting lobsters, fishing, digging clams. We have done a lot for 2 old guys.
He's worked, been a hard worker his whole life.
Because he was always really enthusiastic, and even up until now, he still loves what he's doing. For him to walk away was really astonishing to me.
How he's wanted to end his career, he really has been able to control it on his terms, which is something that a lot of doctors can't say.
This hospital just turned 60 last year, so he had been in this community for basically more than 50%. He and his generation of physicians and surgeons and urologists have helped build this hospital. I think he was the first physician on the board, and they've really put this hospital on the map.
He owns what he's earned in life. I hope he chooses to spend his time just how he wants to, because he deserves that.